Brilliant stuff, man. Brilliant stuff.
Welcome, Jackson family. Welcome. So
Hello,
glad
how are
to have
you?
you
How you
today.
guys doing?
Hello, how are you?
What's going
Doing
on, Chad?
well.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, family?
We're doing great.
So, if I can start, Teresa, can I start or do you want to start?
Absolutely, you can start.
So, many years ago, like I said, the Jacksons is the first family when it comes to American music. Just the first family of it all. When you grew up, you knew about the Jacksons. You know, it's funny. I had teachers that used to really get on my nerves because when I was growing up in middle school and stuff, I had teachers told me that they had crushes on Jackie Jackson. And I'm like, why you have a crush on Jackie Jackson and I'm in front of you? And it bothered me for many years. And but you guys, I think about the Jacksons, I think about my mom, I think about your mother. Your mother is like the ultimate mother. Like everybody has embraced Mrs. Jackson as just the mother of the world. She just has this incredible temperament that I've seen. Now in real life, because my mother, people said, oh, had the temperament of life, but was she somewhat of a disciplinarian when it came to you guys as when you guys were young and given trouble, or she was always just very sweet and laid back and the voice of reason?
She was very sweet and way back in the voice of reason, just like you said. She was almost like another sister to us.
Yeah,
My father was the one who laid down the hammer, but she was very sweet.
she saved us a lot. She saved us a lot. She could
she's incredible. And I've never had the honor of meeting her, but I think we all feel like we know Mrs. Jackson. I know she's 90 years old now. Her genes are incredible. She has the DNA of a goddess. So please wish her my best when you guys see her.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I will.
We'll do that.
Little trivia for you, Teresa, because if you're on here with the Jackson, you got to have some trivia. Now, when they had their Jackson 5 cartoon, the pet snake, what was the name of the pet snake?
She don't know.
Oh, I know. Rosie.
She don't know.
Rosie was the pet snake. Rosie was the pet snake, Teresa.
Rosie.
Oh, I thought you was asking the audience.
Do you know who did the voice of Marlon on that TV show, on that cartoon?
No, who?
One of the Silvers.
One of the Silvers. Edmund Silvers from the Silvers.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a Jackson fan, man. I'm a Jackson fan. I know more than that.
I didn't think to look up the snake, though. I mean, the snake, really?
No, see, when you grew up in New York, for me, man, we watched that show every day after school. I think it only came on for a season, but it was incredible, man. Incredible. My last one, because I like to collect things. Do you know that the Jacksons had a record that was embedded in a box of cereal? And you can cut out the cereal, cut out the record, and then play that record. I have the original cereal box.
Oh, you do?
I have the original cereal box.
Wow.
You can't find that box for less than $3,000.
Really?
So one day I'm going to get Marlon and everybody to sign it so I could just be the man.
Yeah.
I can just be the man.
Tito's got 10 of them.
Oh, my one.
Oh, Tito, you still got yours?
I have one. Yes.
I don't have any.
I ate the cereal though.
Yeah, the cereal's gone. Cereal's gone.
I got 3 of them.
Well, I want to go around the room and ask each. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, Mr. Marlon. I wanted to go around the room and ask each of you what was your fondest moment of your career. I'll start with Jackie.
My fondest moment of my career, I would have
is watching Marlon.
I would. He said watching Marlon. That's what he said. No, mine was singing for the Queen of England.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, when you guys were younger, you guys did it a couple of times, didn't you?
Yeah, yes, we did. Yeah, for the first time, that was something special because, you read about it in school, in high school, and grade school, and having to be there the first time in front of the Queen and see the whole pageantry is like just incredible. It's just amazing. And also she told us she had all of our records, so that was fun to hear that too.
Wow. What about you, Marlon?
Now mine was when I went to Ethiopia and just realized how fortunate the less fortunate here in the U.S. are, and to realize what those people had to endure and what they went through, and that was sticking my heart always. Don't get me wrong, meeting queens and heads of states is great, but that was just a moment that I realized, we have a long ways to go in unifying people and bringing them together.
And we still do today.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Tito?
Well, all of them are, but I have two actually, and I'll make it quick. My first one, I would have to say, being inducted into a Hall of Fame.
Very good.
Yes.
What kind of Hall of Fame, Tito?
Huh? Rock and Roll.
What kind of Hall of Fame? What?
Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame. My other one would be doing stadium dates all across America. 3 and 4 dates, and even 6. How many was it at Dodger Stadium? About 7 straight dates sold out, and that was really big for the brothers.
Wow.
I must admit, off the strength of a big album by our younger brother, Michael Jackson.
I always wondered this question because I never got the sense that your dad played an instrument, but who taught you guys how to play instruments, especially at such a young age?
Well, it came trial and error, being bad little kids and not listening actually, because my father had a guitar and he said, don't touch it. That was the reason to touch it. We go to work and we grab a guitar and start doing our thing, so that's basically
more self-taught.
I'm sorry, self-taught.
Yeah.
Self-taught. Plus my Uncle Luther, he used to come over to the house and bring his amp and guitar. They jam and everything. My father's playing guitar and harmonica and that whole thing, and we run around dancing and having a good time. We were musical family before we were even doing music, because my parents kept music going all the time. They would buy the latest records, and we had a record player, and we dancing and just being children.
And not only that, there were a lot of talent shows going on around our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Constantly all the time. So we were always entering those talent shows and school talent shows or whatever, just playing everywhere. And that's how we became pretty much successful, but entertaining everywhere and doing a lot of talent shows and winning the trophies, and people started taking notice to us. And that's how we
Then we started opening up for some professional acts, like Gladys Knight and Bobby Taylor, Vancouver's, and we used
Smokey Robinson.
And, do the Apollo in New York and travel.
Ringo Theater in Chicago.
Yeah, all over the East and the Midwest, we would travel and do all these shows. So we thought we were special.
This is in the 60s.
Yeah. And what was that like in the 60s performing with all of the racial tension and things that were going on at that time?
We never did look at it. We never did notice the racial tension at the time, because we just in it for the love of the music, and we didn't see none of that until pretty much later on down the line.
It's interesting. I was in Gary, Indiana before the pandemic. I did a show for they do something every year, and I think they said that you come pretty often, Jackie. To your high school thing, there was like this. Your high school seems to do something every year in Gary, Indiana, and I did something for them, and they mentioned you all the time in there.
Yeah, there's always something going on in Indiana, with the Jacksons and Gary, Indiana, because that is the high school that we did go to. It was, matter of fact, it was right behind our house. We could just take about 50 steps, and we right there at the high school. It was right behind us.
When was the last time you guys been to the original house?
We was not too long ago, guys, weren't we?
Right before the pandemic, a couple of months before the lockdown.
Yeah.
So I was about a year ago, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
Do you get emotional seeing the old house?
Well, it brings back a
He
lot
don't
of
start
memories.
crying all the time when he sees it. Because you can't believe how small it was.
Yes, right. All of us grew up in this small house, but back in the day, it was huge to us.
The Tito's garage is bigger than that house.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of love in that house, though. A lot of love in that house.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So much love.
With so many years in the music industry, some people describe it as good times, bad times. If you had to do it all over again, would you do it again?
Man, that's where it all started, Teresa V. That's where we all bond together as brothers and sisters and grew up because we didn't know any better. We thought the house was a mansion to us.
Yes.
We had a lot of fun in that neighborhood,
Yeah.
not just the house, but the friends we had, Johnny Ray and Google Lorenzo and all the guys who not with us, but it was, we got to play hide and go seek until the street lights came on. Don't let the street lights catch you, you know.
Yeah.
Don't let them streetlights catch you.
We played baseball, we played cricket, you know, in the alleys and stuff. You know, just regular kids. Then, of course, when my father was around,
You played ghetto cricket. That's what you did.
It's real cricket. That's my family's stuff. Caribbean. But you know, I always heard about Diana Ross's involvement with the Jackson 5, but I never knew Chong had anything to do with the Jackson 5.
Oh, Tommy Chung?
Tommy Chong.
Oh yeah, yeah, he did because actually our first one of our first breaks, we were playing the Regal Theater, and people don't know this, but Tommy Chung was one of the members of Bobby Taylor's and Vancouver's, one of the Vancouver.
He played bass.
No, it's guitar
I
jack.
didn't even know he played music.
He played guitar jack.
Jackie guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, because he showed me a few things on the guitar back then. I remember. But yeah, he was in that band, so we knew him way back there before we even was introduced to the world the way Motown did.
Oh wow, that's incredible, man. That is incredible. You know, it's interesting. Jermaine isn't on today. Jermaine has a record now, because I wanted to ask you guys, how do you feel about new artists sampling some of your legendary records? Like Jermaine, there's a beat of Jermaine's that I've sampled. DJ Quick sampled it too. Great track. Obviously, Heavy D sampled This Place Hotel for Peaceful Journey and did a great job on it. Naughty by Nature took ABC. I mean, you guys know about these records, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say, wait a second, don't tell me we ain't getting no permission to do this. But you guys know about these records. How did it feel when you hear these records and you know, like, wait a second, I played that record, I played that music. That's my guitar on that, and that's my bass on that rap record or anything like that.
It's nice to know that your music have influenced this generation, and I'm sure for generations to come. And it makes you feel good to let you know that they appreciate your work back in the day when we recorded that stuff in the 80s and stuff. So we do appreciate them, taking notice of our music and adding their little taste on it, and it makes us feel good inside. So we thank them for that. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, Chuck. I was in the store the other day, and I picked up this magazine, and it said the best of the 80s, all the best groups of the 80s, and I'm thumbing through it. I didn't see not one picture of the Jackson 5. Not one picture of the Jacksons, not one picture of Michael Jackson, not one picture of Janet Jackson. So they're trying to erase us out of the history books. But I know my people like you all ain't gonna let that happen.
Oh no, never.
No,
I mean, man, I've had countless issues when it comes to these magazines, man. You can't even follow it. The love that people have for the Jacksons. Let me tell you, you cannot come out of the womb as a new baby today and not know a Jackson 5 record.
Especially ABC.
Yeah, your mom is playing it, humming it. So I wouldn't concentrate on magazines, man.
Yeah, but
Legacy.
This was People magazine, and I was taken aback because the Victory Tour in the 80s was the biggest tour of all time, and they all stadium tour, and they did not mention that not once or nothing. So that goes to show me that my people got our back, they got our love, and so we ain't gonna let that happen. I know that.
Still is today, boy.
Excuse me, Tito?
It still is today.
That's right.
Still is today, yeah. And Teresa, I don't know if you know about Marlon. But Marlon kind of had the construct of this kind of black entertainment. I hate to say black entertainment television. He had a very serious. He was a first when it came to constructing that. I got to put that out there for people.
You're talking about the Black Family Network that we had.
Yeah.
And my brothers and all of us, when we used to travel a long time ago to all these different places, we used to always see non-African Americans, not participating in the hotels and people having a great time. And I used to say to myself, and they did too, we're family. They're families. They like to have great times too. And there was nothing out there that was family oriented, geared to that demographic. Yeah. So we had to do something about that and make that happen. And unfortunately, they sold the distribution of the network. But our people love to have a great time, and they're family oriented too. They do the normal things that all other families do, and we had to bring that to the forefront.
We surely appreciate that, because we need that, and we will continue to push you guys and put you out there. And this video is going to go. I'm trying to get it to the masses, because I want everybody to know about the legendary Jacksons. We cannot forget you guys.
Let me ask you a question on the numbers. To this date, on the accumulation of records sold, records that have the last name Jackson, how many records is the estimate? I got my own number in my mind, but what do you think?
Well, I have no idea, because you got to look at just one album, and that's that Thriller album that Michael did. I mean, that's over 150 million records sold.
So I'm talking about everything. Michael,
Michael, Janet, Jackie, Jermaine, Tito,
everybody's album.
I'm sure it's close up in the 700 million range or something up in there. I'm sure.
That's what I'm trying to say. There is no musical entity ever, ever, that will ever sell 700 million records. Period. As a family.
Right. But we also want to let the people know that we don't take that for granted. We do appreciate their support throughout the years and supporting this family and supporting us, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we do thank you for that.
We sure do.
You know what's interesting, Teresa? I don't know if you've seen Tito. I've seen him play on the Tom Joyner cruise. It was a couple of years ago. He was on the Tom Joyner cruise, and he still got it. He still got it, man. I might have to show him a couple of little tricks, but he still got it, man.
Yeah, I've always been a lover of blues type of music. Right now, I'm working with some great people like Kingfish and Kenny Neal, and Kenny Gamble wrote a song with me that I'm doing with Eddie Levert. So I'm planning on coming out with a blues record first, second quarter next year.
Very good, very good. And I know you did something with Big Daddy Kane, which is a brother of mine.
Right. My last Tito Time album, my first single featured Big Daddy Kane. Get it, baby. So, I'm having fun.
What instrument do you play, Mr. Tito?
I play guitar.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Marlon?
I play everything. Name something, I'll play it for you. I just got to go to the shop and buy it first.
Mr. Jackie?
I like to work on the melodies and the lyrics and stuff like that mostly.
Is there any thought process of another Jackson family album?
Oh yeah. We got music coming out very, very soon. Old music being remixed, and we add new singles to the old music, and that's what we're setting up right now. And that should be out very, very shortly. The whole catalog. I mean, the whole Jackson's catalog, pretty much.
Now, when you guys are transporting those original masters to probably digitize them, is it under Secret Service protection? Because that got to be serious stuff trying to digitize all of that legendary music.
Well, you got to pretty much keep your eye on it. Like you said, it's under protection. You better believe it.
Somebody want to re-release the package of some of the old stuff, and we'll put one or two new songs on there.
Elderly stuff.
Pardon me, Tito?
Some of the elderly stuff, early stuff.
Are there any records that that people don't know? Like, are there records that you guys said, no, this is not making the album, and they just kind of stayed to the side and no one ever heard those records?
Motown got a bunch of those.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, we got to get somebody to come up with some of the records.
Motown has
a lot. There's some stuff that we did with Stevie Wonder that hasn't been released.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, see, now that you put that out there in the world, people are going to probably ask for that, because I would love to hear some original stuff that never came out.
Yeah, that's some stuff that Stevie Wonder we recorded. Yeah, working with him in the studio is amazing. Working with Stevie in the studio. Yeah.
Do you still keep in touch with Stevie now? Are you still?
Well, Stevie's part of our family. People don't know Stevie's really related to us on my mom's side.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A lot of people doesn't know that. A lot of people don't know that today.
Okay.
Yeah, you could tell that there was some kind of extreme synergy between him and the family. And I had the chance to talk to him and interview him the other day. He's doing good. He's getting stronger and stronger. He's doing good.
Right. Let me tell you, Stevie was at my my father's funeral, and so we were walking out the door, and I was talking to him, and Stevie goes to a young lady, Amelia. She said, "What?" He said, "Give Marlon my number now that we cuz." That's what she
said. So tell me about one of the craziest, wildest experiences being in concert. Since you've traveled all over the world, people respond. They pretty much respond the same, but which one out of all the concerts can you remember that was like
crazy?
That was off the chain.
Well, the one that for me is when we found that
the one in London.
No, Jackie. Well, that one too, but no, the one that they found that bomb under the stage. That's the one that I remember.
A bomb under the stage.
Yeah,
we used to get death threats all the time.
Oh, wow.
Is this more in the 70s?
Yeah, this is Jackson 5 days. Yes.
Victory Tour days too.
Yeah, Victory Tour, riding in armored cars and stuff. Armored. They delivered the money in from the bank, riding in there because we had death threats from the during the Victory Tour. Yes. Oh, yes.
The whole tour was sold out around the world, like 70,000 seats sold out. And each place we played at least 4 times. Each arena, each stadium, and places like Dallas, places like Boston, and Boston, they wouldn't let us play there. We couldn't play.
And believe it or not, the owner of the Patriots, Chuck Sullivan, was part of the promoting of the tour, and he had owned the stadium, but they boycotted everything when we couldn't play in Boston.
You know what's interesting, in all the years that because we've seen many different biopics of the Jacksons, but they never added any of that experience in any of the biopics. Clearly, young African American men that have taken over the world and have people loving their music of all nationalities. I guess it would cause some racial animus, but never have I seen that until you guys said it just now.
But Chubby, some places down south, we had to crawl on the floor, and they told us to close our blinds and just crawl on the floor because we heard that people was trying to snipe us. So, true story.
Oh, wow.
Right, Mark?
Is there a book? Because is somebody writing a book?
Really?
Somebody that might need to be in a book.
Well, there's some things might be coming up in the future real soon. I don't want to give anything away, but
okay.
Yeah,
because people will never know about these things.
Right. Is there any other projects that you can tell us that are coming up?
Marlon, you muted your mic by accident somehow.
The first time we went to Brazil, we got there and we were supposed to do a show, but customs would not let our equipment go through, so we couldn't do the show. So the promoter thought it would be a great thing for us to go to the place, packed, and tell the people we're not performing tonight, but we will perform tomorrow because they're going to release our equipment. Those people got upset, started going crazy. We ran on the bus for our lives, and the police pulled out guns and started shooting at the people, didn't they, Jackie?
Yep. Yeah.
And it's like, what?
No,
It was
experience.
The next day we did the show, and everybody was calm and happy and was into it.
Like nothing happened.
Like nothing happened.
Marlon, remember this one song that we didn't know was such a big hit over there? So they was going crazy because they wanted to hear this one song with a slow ballad. I think it was Happy. The song called Happy. Remember that?
Yes.
So we had to run backstage and learn the song real quick and come back out to sing it. Those people was going to tear that place up for me to sing that song.
Because you have different hits in different countries that are not hits in the U.S., but it's a big record over in that country. Yeah. Some that didn't work here works over there, and we weren't aware of it.
It's called Happy.
Happy. Is that out anywhere where we could hear it?
Yes, a slow song. Cause Happy, you know the song? Da, 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 da. Happy with Happy Smile. Remember that song, Marlon?
The one that Sadness.
That's the one. That's the one. You remember that one?
Yeah. What's his name? The brother wrote that. He used to be our conductor. What's his name? Brown, I think his last name. Jeez. Yeah, I know what you mean now.
Great song.
Yeah, sure is a great song.
Mm-hmm.
So the last album for Motown, what album was that before you guys went to Sony? Well, went to Epic. Well, same thing. Epic, Sony.
Ooh, what song? What album was that?
What was that last album?
Was that Moving Violations, Jackie? Was it the Moving Violations album?
Marlon, you something else, son.
I know, brother. I'm bad. I'm just kidding.
Somebody's got to be the historian here, man.
Marlon don't forget nothing. He's like an elephant. He don't forget nothing.
Right.
You guys went to Sony. You weren't able to use any of the Motown writers and producers, right? You had to kind of start over now on a whole new different place.
Yeah, but we Gamble and Huff, did our first 2 records on Sony, and they had some writers, and we were allowed to do 3 songs on the album, and then the album 3, and then after that, the Destiny album was the first album that we had full control over, produced and wrote under the Sony umbrella.
Interesting that Gamble and Huff wasn't able to put you on Philadelphia International, but I guess that would have been a tall order.
Well, Sony had signed us before Gamble and Huff came along, and even though Gamble and Huff, I think their label was a subsidiary of on the Columbia, under the Columbia umbrella.
It was distributed by Columbia.
Yeah,
their label, I think. Yeah.
And at some point, why didn't Papa Joe, who was definitely a strong businessman, how come he didn't start the Jackson label at some point?
Maybe one of my older brothers can answer that, but I can't give you on that one.
Tito, you're the oldest. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not the oldest. No, there was other labels, but we were making our own records, and we're not label guys at that time, So he was basically concentrating on the Jacksons' performance records and what we were going at as a family. But later on, he started his own label, which was Joe, so I can't even remember.
Ivory Towers, Ivory Records or something like that. Ivory Tower Records or something like that.
Yes, something like that.
Yes.
Well, I surely do appreciate you for coming on the show today. I didn't want to keep you on for 30 minutes, so that's what I promised Mr. Hart. Chuck, do you have any more questions that you want to ask before we say goodbye to the lovely Jackson family?
Well, for me, it's to be continued. I got a million other questions.
I know, right?
Now, your man Marlon is trying to eat shrimp.
Chuck,
I'm playing some music.
We'll come back on this show anytime for you guys. Anytime.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm sure Chuck is going to put you on his radio show as well. But yeah, we would love to see you again.
We'd love to. Just set it up to our management. We'd love to come back anytime.
And hit me, Chuck, okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna text you when we get off, Marlon.
Okay, cool.
Man, let me tell you, love you guys, man. Love the legacy.
We love you guys too.
Love the decades of great music and family bond. That's what we all.
Thank you so much.
Family bond.
Hey, Therese, I want to thank you and thank everybody, and be safe out there because we live in turbulent times right now. Mask up, wear your glove, because the life you save may be your own.
That's right.
Teresa,
Yes.
First of all, thank you for your platform. Brilliant stuff and a pretty smile. Wouldn't it be dope? Wouldn't it be dope to have the Jacksons play at the inauguration?
Absolutely.
Well, they're going to play our song. They're going to play our song at the inauguration. Can you feel it?
There you go.
I got a letter in from the president, and they're going to play the song. They're going to lose at least 35 minutes of it. That's what I was told.
35.
Awesome. That's going to be so awesome.
Yeah.
So we thank you guys for your support throughout the years, and just be safe out there because it's crazy right now.
It really
Definitely
is.
crazy. You guys be safe too.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
Take care, everybody. We love you guys.
And like I said, we'll come on anytime you guys want us to. Just hook it up with the management. We'll be there.
Matter of fact, Jackie, I'll sleep at your door. Okay. All right.
Oh boy.
Stay blessed. Stay blessed.
Bye-bye.